Hola a todos, bienvenidos, ¿cómo estáis? Espero que estéis muy bien. Hi Peter, welcome
Hello.
to this podcast kind of thing. Estamos aquí, ya veis, Copa con John, así que hoy estamos aquí precisamente con Peter Hurley, uno de los mejores fotógrafos del mundo, y le tenemos aquí en Barcelona de casualidad porque está en un tour europeo y va a estar aquí solo unos días, así que he aprovechado para secuestrarle, robarle un poco de tiempo y traerle para vosotros. Así que vamos a hacer una pequeña charla con él, le vais a poder preguntar lo que queráis, yo iré charlando con él y si tenéis cualquier duda, pues iré traduciendo lo que él dice, ¿vale? So, Peter, thanks first of all for coming and spending some time with us here. People loves it because people in my academy have seen your course and some of your masterclass and they love your way of working. So it's amazing for us to have you here. Why are you in Europe now? Like, what are you doing in Europe?
I'm over here for 6 weeks. So I ended up doing a European kind of tour.
Cool.
So I did a workshop. I just flew from Amsterdam today, so I did a workshop there. I'll be in Zurich next weekend, next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday doing workshops. So
Cool.
I've got a little talk and then a workshop and then a 3-day workshop. 2-day
Nice.
workshop, then a 1-day workshop. So.
Nice. Ha estado en Europa 6 semanas, he estado haciendo un tour por aquí y luego comenta que ahora esta semana que viene el último es en Zúrich y si queréis en su Instagram me mandáis un mensaje porque creo que hay una plaza libre aún. Es sábado, domingo y el lunes hay un workshop extra para aquellos que os lo queréis tomar realmente muy en serio. Así que queréis aprovechar y poder ver a Peter Hurley en acción y estar con él en un workshop en Zúrich es la última oportunidad que tendréis, ¿vale? Venga, vamos allá. Bueno, veo que ya estáis entrando todos por aquí. Bienvenidos todos. I have loads of people coming in saying hi to you now. So, let me ask you a thing. How is your business nowadays? But it's still the same as it used to be, like headshots and teaching on the other side, but you still actually actively working headshots in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working headshots. I would say that I do a lot of teaching, but I mean, this is like for me to take 6 weeks out is a little strange. So I'm in a kind of like am I on vacation or am I not on vacation? That's why I was coming here. I was like, I got to do something with you. Let's do something, right? I was like, what? I'm going to be bored out of my mind if I'm just sitting in Barcelona. My brother lives here, and he went to the States for the summer, so he said, use my apartment. So
Right.
I'm like,
Good.
okay.
It's a good place for holidays. It's a nice place, nice city.
Yeah.
Se comenta Peter que aún sigue trabajando, evidentemente, que cada vez está dando más clases, pero que ahora se ha tomado 6 semanas y que no sabía muy bien si estaba trabajando o no y por eso me llamó y me dijo que a ver si hacíamos algo porque si no se aburriría solo estando de vacaciones porque creo que su vida prácticamente es la fotografía igual.
So it's interesting that I would say over the course of my career for the last 20 some odd years, I very rarely get jobs where I'm traveling outside of my studio to go shoot. Like it's like pretty rare. I'm usually shooting in New York or I'm shooting in LA. And that's it. Like but when I made the trip over here, one of my clients who flew to New York, who's a CEO, flew to New York a few years ago and I shot him and he had a bad shoot in Europe. He's now in Paris. And he told his team, get Peter over here. So I was like, cool. So we'll check off, add Paris to the list.
Okay,
but
nice.
so I've got I race sailboats as somebody of you, I don't know if anybody follows me, but I'm a big sailboat racer. So there's a European Championship, which was in La Scala last year,
Right,
which I won.
When you came, yeah, exactly, you won.
I won.
Big one.
So I'm going back to defend, and it's on the west coast of France.
In France, but it's now, soon.
It's in the middle of September.
So you stay
So-
there until the middle of September and then back to the States.
Yeah, so I'm here for a week. I go to Zurich for about a week. I go to Paris and do my shoot and
Right.
spend some time there, and then I go to the race, and then I go back home. So when I get back home, we'll see. I mean, there's been a lot going on where I'm changing the studio. Like I'm getting into video now too. So I've been shooting video, which is like new to me. I never did that before. And I'm actually directing and enjoying it. I'm actually not really I'm bringing some shooters in with me because I don't want to learn Final Cut or Premiere, you know, and I don't necessarily need to point the camera at anybody and shoot it, but
I've direct it.
So I don't know if you want to tell them in Spanish, but I found that directing, because of my skill set from what I've done for the past 20 years, it works really well. I mean, that's really what my job is.
Yeah, makes sense. So, dice que desde hace, bueno, ha estado aquí porque tiene un trabajo también en París, porque una persona que le hizo fotos hace unos años, el CEO de una empresa grande, cuando se enteró que venía a Europa, le dijo, oye, vente a todos mis empleados, y entonces tiene un trabajo en París para fotografiar a varias gente, y también tiene una carrera porque él es, ¿cómo se llama? House sailing in Spain. navega con barcos de vela, no sé cómo se llama, y compite. De hecho, el año pasado ganó la carrera europea de su categoría y este año le toca defenderlo en Francia. Y lo tiene ahora dentro de unas semanas, así que va a estar por Europa unas cuantas semanas más. Y me comentaba ahora que cuando vuelva a Nueva York tiene previsto, porque se ha empezado a meter en el mundo del vídeo, pero sobre todo en la parte de dirección. Y estaba comentando, que creo que es muy interesante, que no necesariamente tiene que aprender ni edición de vídeo, ni a utilizar cámaras de vídeo, nada por el estilo, porque precisamente se ha dado cuenta que todo el trabajo que lleva haciendo los últimos 30 años es exactamente dirigir gente, y con lo cual que lo de dirigir la parte pues, de vídeo le va bastante bien y se le da bien y le gusta. Entonces en eso es un poco en lo que se mete. Por cierto, si tenéis alguna pregunta, dejadlo en grande, poner pregunta y ponéis la pregunta que tengáis y se la paso a Peter, encantado de la vida. I'm telling them they can ask any questions they like. So you feel that now, because you've been directing people all this time and that's been mostly your specialty, now going into video and directing production, it's kind of in line with your line of work, so actually you're good at it.
It's amazing. So we know people get weird in front of cameras. Like they're not comfortable. So I go into businesses and do a video for the business and the employees never want to talk on camera. Like there's very few that are like, yeah, I want to do it. They're all like, I'm not going on camera. And that's exactly what I've been dealing with my job.
Yeah, totally.
Shooting
that's
for
what
20
you really
years.
Have been always super good at, no?
Yeah. So basically I sit them down and I'm like, look, they're like, do I have to remember? What am I going to say? How do I look? And I'm like, you're just going to chill out and talk to me. Stop it,
okay.
you know? And then it becomes this, you know, how do you get them to be themselves?
So it's working with non-professional actors, like more like people that get into a camera. That's probably you're really
awesome.
good at that.
And I love it. And I trained for it for 20 years. So I'm like, and I fell into it because I trained a photographer on headshots. He started doing headshots, became super successful, and then was like, well, everybody I'm doing headshot, all these companies need video. I should do some videos. So now he utilized his headshot business to start the conversation with these companies that they need video, and now he's securing the videos because he's got a rapport with them with the headshot work.
Right.
So it's an amazing door that's opening.
Headshot, at the end of the day, you are with a really high value client because they are normally like CEOs or like high profile executives.
Yeah.
So at the end, when there is something else in the company going, it's going to find you play it.
I mean, I can handle it, and they usually like me, so it's good.
Dice que básicamente su trabajo de vídeo se va a enfocar más a trabajar con no actores, es decir, porque lo que ha hecho durante los últimos 25 años es conseguir que gente normal, que no son gente habituada a estar delante de una cámara, consiga sacar lo mejor de sí mismo. Entonces, cuando tiene que hacer un vídeo corporativo y los empleados no quieren hablar en cámara porque les da vergüenza y tal, él consigue de ahí sacarles y sacar muy buen contenido, con lo cual eso es algo que puede funcionar muy bien. Y luego dice también que una de las cosas que ha visto es que con los headshots, con los retratos corporativos, consigues un tipo de cliente que luego evidentemente es el director de la empresa, etcétera, con lo cual si hay otra necesidad de producción es muy fácil que te lo den a ti porque tienes contacto directo con la gente, con los peces más gordos de la empresa, y con lo cual eso es muy muy guay. All right, so how do you see the photography business nowadays? Like, do you think we are in a good moment, in a bad moment, in a difficult moment? Because, you know, over the years, and in your career you've probably seen it, but there has been ups and downs. There has been moments where there has been a boom, when the social media came out, LinkedIn probably been a boom for headshots, but there has been times as well where, like, I guess, did you work with analog cameras before? Yeah, you did, right?
Yeah.
So I guess when we went to the digital, competition came really hard, and then it was more difficult to find business. So how do you see the moment right now? You think it's a good moment to be a photographer? Or?
I mean, I think it's great. I think that, I don't think it's phenomenal. I think it's great for the people that have an established business and an expertise. I think the people that are just starting out, getting their feet wet in it, are going to have a hard time coming up against somebody that's more established.
Okay.
I just think that it's a little steeper hill to climb. I think that the economy, at least in the United States, is not what it was. So it's not as easy. But I don't think that the companies that I'm working with are pulling back. I don't think they're not getting headshots. I don't think that they're not doing videos or they're not doing portraits of their CEOs. So I actually, the company that hired me in Paris wanted me just to do just to shoot headshots of the CEO, and then they were like, no, we should do some portraits of him while you're here. And then he said, while he's here, he should shoot the people in the company too. Right. So if you secure the job, you can actually pull more out of the
Expand the
job as you go.
You're there already, so.
Yeah, and if they need stuff, you can add to it, which is great. So I was like, yeah. So I'm actually turned a 1-day job into a 2-day job, which may turn into more. Who knows? Or it might just be and end up being 2 days, which is great. But going back to the U.S., I've got a studio in New York and I've got one in Burbank, and I've found that the studio in New York is chugging along pretty good. The studio in Burbank, I have to focus. Like I'm not there. It's a little bit harder to fill. I probably will not. My lease is up in a year, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. It's just not. I don't go enough.
Yeah.
You know. So, and I don't have my feet wet there. I think the photographers that really plant themselves somewhere and go, "This is my domain." It worked for me. Yeah. You know, I'm trying to spread out because I'm traveling. I'm trying to figure out how to do what I love: travel the world, sail, teach, shoot. In a globally, so I don't have to be stuck in New York. Exactly. And I don't feel stuck. I mean, I love New York, but I want to be able to do what it is that I want to do.
It's great when you can do whatever you want. So, le preguntaba qué tal ve la situación de la fotografía ahora mismo en estos tiempos comparado con, él lleva más de 20 años en esto, con lo cual ha visto subidas y bajadas, y me comenta que ahora mismo no le parece que sea un mal momento ni mucho menos, pero que es un momento en que entrar en la fotografía es difícil, que la curva de entrada es bastante más elevada y que es difícil competir con alguien que tiene un talento y un estudio montado o que tiene un negocio montado si eres nuevo en esto, con lo cual él cree que para los que ya están montados, los que estamos montados, pues igual no es tan complicado, no es un mal momento, porque las empresas, aunque haya un poco de crisis, siguen demandando imágenes, vídeos, etcétera, pero que para empezar en el negocio igual sí que es difícil hacerse un lugar o es más complicado de lo que solía ser. Recuerdo que si tenéis alguna pregunta podéis dejarla por aquí y las vamos a ir leyendo con Peter, le podéis preguntar lo que quieras. Ahí tenemos algo en Instagram, ¿alguna pregunta? No, vale. Había una pregunta, there was a question, a really important question that I think it will bring us today. People are saying like, what about AI? You know, like, I guess you've seen some stuff. The other day you were talking to me about this software, by the way. They called me back because they actually contacted us, but we forgot. So we're back on talks with them. Thanks for that. So there is a moment where it's obviously you can create images without the camera. Does it make a photographer to have to rethink their position, or at the end of the day, we are image creators and it doesn't matter if you make it with a camera? Like, is this change is going to be like when we pass from using a big camera with a hoodie to when we use like a mirrorless camera nowadays, and now we will use something else, another tool, or is it actually changing the whole setup of the thing, like the whole scenario?
Well, you've messed with it a lot more than I have, but I'm of the thought that we're using cameras today. I just feel like I'm very into authenticity, so I loved film. Mm-hmm. I loved the fact that I would press the button, and digital almost killed this, because when I coach, people press the button so willy-nilly. Like, I don't allow my students to shoot somebody if they're in double chinsville. Like, if I shot film, I wouldn't shoot somebody if they were sitting there like this. Right. I just would never take the picture. So digitally, we'll take it and we'll shoot it, and then we waste all these frames, and then the frames don't mean as much. I think your frames are meaningful whether you're shooting digital, whether you're shooting film, or whether you're creating it with whatever tool AI creates for you that you're going to create as an image creator. But for me, I like people to look the way they look. I don't like over retouching. I am working with eVoto, but and I like the program because I can fine tune it the way I want. I want the stuff to not look like it's been touched really very much, if at all. I just want the human to look like the way they're going to look when they walk in the room. So
especially for headshots, no, because at the end it's the image they use to present themselves. So
it's their personal brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So is AI going to be able to create the expressions that I can create when I'm giving a person an experience? I don't think so.
That's a good question, yeah. Pues le pregunto qué tal ve el tema de la inteligencia artificial, que seguro que es una de las preguntas que nos habíais hecho por Instagram y que van a salir antes o después. Y Peter, a pesar de que dice que no lo ha tocado mucho, el otro día estábamos comiendo y yo estoy hablando con él porque ya sabéis que yo me he metido muy de lleno en ello, dice que para él Lo primero es que él tiene un valor por la artesanía de la fotografía y que a él, por ejemplo, la parte analógica le encanta. El hecho de disparar y de cuidar cada uno de los frames es algo que le gusta mucho y que trabaja mucho con sus alumnos cuando da cursos, ¿no? Entonces, en esa parte es evidente que sea como sea, dice él, que tomes la imagen, sea con una cámara analógica o sea con una herramienta de inteligencia artificial, lo importante es que le prestes atención a cada uno de los frames, a cada imagen que crees, le prestes la misma atención que tiene que tener. Él dice, por ejemplo, que cuando tiene un alumno y tiene delante un sujeto y tiene como una papada, ¿no?, en vista, pues que no le deje disparar, porque evidentemente si estuvieses disparando en carrete no dispararías esa foto. En digital esto se ha matado mucho y parece que tenemos pues mucha más facilidad al disparo y evidentemente cree que con la inteligencia artificial pues probablemente pase exactamente lo mismo. So, have you seen some of the results of AI? What can AI do?
In terms of headshots, because that's all I really care
Yeah.
about. I'm like,
I guess. I mean, from
the
headshots
other
I've seen
stuff.
some stuff. I've seen some tools. There's actually one of the first things that really came out as a useful application for final users, where you can upload like 20 selfies,
Yeah.
and then you can convert it into
Yeah,
headshots.
yeah.
And then obviously they're not amazing,
Yeah.
we have to say.
Yeah.
But I guess might be enough for some people.
Yeah, I think they're going to get there too. I think it's going to get better, right? So it's only going to get better.
Yeah, it's
so
only getting better.
is it going to get, it depends who your clientele is. I think if you're, like I said, it's going to be a little bit more difficult on the people who are trying to start out a business to charge somebody a decent amount of money for a headshot. If you're starting, if you can go onto one of these things, upload something and get something decent, and if you don't care so much about it being perfect or it being looking real, or I just think they look stale is what they do.
Yeah.
They don't look vibrant and full of life. So some people are going to be okay with that. And the people that are okay with that are going to go to those people because they're going to spend a very limited amount of money and time doing that.
And this is probably not your customer anyway, no?
That's not my
These kind of
customer. That's
persons,
where I
yeah.
was going. Yeah, they're not my customer. So I don't think the CEO of the company they don't need to do something like that. Would they do something like that? I don't think so. Not at this stage of the game.
Le preguntaba por si había visto alguna de las herramientas y qué le parecían, y dice que ha visto algunas de estas que subes 20 selfies y te hacen la foto corporativa, la foto de currículum, y que, bueno, que lo que ha visto hasta ahora no es tan bueno, pero que evidentemente esto es el principio y solo va a mejorar. Lo que él cree, y lo comentaba antes también, es que su capacidad de sacar la expresión de alguien es lo que realmente tiene un valor, pero claro, evidentemente habrá gente que con eso le bastará, y ese que no se quiera gastar dinero tirará de una app de estas, pagará los $10 y tendrá su retrato, pero que evidentemente siempre habrá quien quiera ese retrato más personal, más especial, que le saque un buen resultado. I'm going to show you this. I just published this yesterday. Like for a long time I had a series of images in my head that I wanted to do, and some ideas. I have this idea of like a beautiful Eastern European naked model over a white horse in the forest with like a very cinematic lighting. These kind of things that are on my head for years, but I never did because of the production.
Right.
So another idea I wanted these kind of like fashion white dresses, kind of like almost angels in the clouds over like the roof of a city. And I thought many times of how to do this in production, and it was
Really?
very expensive.
Yeah.
It was like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna throw them off a helicopter, like with a parachute hiding in the dress, and then try to take photos of that? That's incredibly crazy. If you're gonna do it on top of a rooftop of any building and wait for the day that you have clouds behind, it looks really good. But I never found the way. And then when I started playing with AI, especially now that there is some new stuff on Midjourney, this is one of the apps that you can use, where you can actually change part of the image without changing the whole image. And then I came up with these images after like about 1.5 hours working on it and iterating from there. Oh, sorry, not the one. And then it was this. So it's a whole, you could call it an editorial. And they are based on my idea, on my creativity, but my point is I would have never been able to pull that off. But not because they are amazing or better than my usual work. I think my usual work is different, but I just think that there are things you cannot do.
Right.
Like,
and this is all Midjourney.
This is full AI. Yeah, this is just full AI.
This human doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't exist at all.
Wow.
And the dress doesn't exist, the clouds don't exist, the city behind doesn't exist. You're just kind of prompting it towards what you want.
Like, where's the dress going here?
Yeah, exactly. This is the mistakes of the AI, and then you can just select a part of it and remake it, and then just change it over and change that part of the dress. Actually, remember on one of these, this arm was kind of covered by clouds, and then I just remade the arm so it was not covered by clouds. But the thing is, like, you have a really good control on what you want to do, and it's
the hair looks awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And like the bones, the neck bones, like the whole thing is really amazing. And now with these kind of tools that you have there, I can swap this model for like this face, and I can put like a brunette, and I can just keep the whole same thing around, and it will create a brunette completely integrated into that image.
How long does it take?
Nothing. Look, let's do it.
We're gonna do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, we have to go to Discord. Okay, I'm gonna try. Voy a intentar, le estaba enseñando, no sé si habéis visto en pantalla, las fotos que publiqué el otro día y diciéndole que hay cosas que simplemente por producción no puedes hacer y que son un problema. Entonces, lo que voy a hacer es enseñarle cómo, porque él no ha trabajado mucho con Midjourney ni con ninguna aplicación de estas y tenía curiosidad y vamos a aprovechar para hacerlo con vosotros mientras tanto. So look, let's say, for example, which one? Say this one was
so this you posted into the Midjourney.
No, this I created in Midjourney. The Midjourney doesn't have the software. It just works in Discord at the moment.
Oh, it only works in Discord?
Yes, it's fucking pain in the ass, but it's what it is.
Really?
And then they're developing their own website sheet and stuff, but right now it's what it is. But let's say, for example, this one, and then if I go here, sí, pincha pantalla. And I go here, and then I just gonna select, let's see how this works. This doesn't work always on the first try. Let's hit here, and I'm gonna change my prompt. Let's put in this prompt. I want to change it to brunette, brunette, beautiful. I don't know, something very basic. Oh shit! Well, I threw it already. Did I close it? No, it's doing it. A brunette, whatever. Let's see what it comes up with. But now it's waiting to start, and then depending on the account you have, because this is paid, it goes faster or slower.
Oh.
You have a certain amount of time per day or per month that you can go faster, otherwise you have to have a more expensive account. But the basic one is $10 a month.
Really? That's it? Yeah. And it's all through Discord?
Yeah, that's the bad part. They're working on getting something else.
Jeez.
I mean, there is another thing that I don't know if you heard about. It's called Stable Diffusion.
Yeah. No.
Stable Diffusion is kind of like a much deeper way.
Oh my gosh, there she is.
It's a much deeper way. Yeah, but the face is not, some of them are good. So he gives you 4 proposals, and then you can either upscale it. This one is pretty decent, but this one, for example, is off, and this one is off. But you can, like, from here, you can even like modify or say, like, you know what, like, run me another 4. I don't like this. And then you make another 4, and like this, you can go to infinite. And it took.
Oh, is that what you did? You just did?
Yeah, I just told it to do another 4, another round. But then Stable Diffusion is basically a much more powerful tool. Like, for me, this is like you have like, because this is crazy, incredible what you can do. But this is more like
How did you get to this point? Where'd you put in the clouds, and where'd you put it? You just put the prompts into the bot?
For me, the prompt for this is like a text like this, that it's basically explaining what I want, and then you iterate from there.
You got 4 more, there they are.
Exactly. And then here you have another 4 different ones, like, and then we can say, for example, let's upscale the first one. And then it will make it like.
So this is for making a completely fake human, but
this makes, and this one actually doesn't look very real.
Oh, that looks
it made it very dolly.
Doesn't look at all like
exactly.
the other one.
But the prompting, I should like work on it
like
until you get it like, exactly, make it like taken with Hasselblad, and then it will make it more like, because basically the training is based in millions of images, and depending on the prompt, it goes to where in the training. So we can even say, like, let's try something funny. I don't know if you would like that, but let's try. I'm going to try to make one of you headshots.
Uh-oh.
Let's try.
Here we go.
Let me try. Vamos a probar a hacer un headshot al estilo de Peter Harley, a ver qué pasa aquí. Photograph. Whoops. Photograph of a business. Recuerda que si queréis preguntarle algo a Peter, tenéis todo el derecho del mundo. A businessman on an elegant suit. In the style of Peter Harley. You ready for this?
What'd you put at the end?
The aspect ratio, so it makes it 16:9.
Oh, you just put 16 by 9?
Yeah, 16 by 9. And these ones were 4/3 because normally my work is 4/3. But let's see what it comes out with.
ARC, what is AR?
AR aspect ratio.
Aspect ratio. Oh my gosh, look at that. That didn't work.
It's
working? That's not
this
even...
is how it works. It's called a diffusion model. So basically it starts with a mesh of pixels and then it perfects it until it comes perfect.
No way.
Well, perfect, well, as perfect as it can be.
Oh my gosh, look, it's doing it.
Has your kicker.
There's my kick. Holy shit. No way.
Okay, let's see. It's almost there.
It's a good looking dude. Look at that guy.
There you go.
It says it's there, it tells you?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's this one, no? Maybe it's the closest. Let's
Yeah.
upscale to 3.
No way. It does, but
The important thing is that from here, you can iterate as much as you want and you can make it better, you can change it,
can you make skin look like, can you make it look real?
let's try something, for example, if we go to variation and then in stable diffusion, we can even use like another image as a reference to use like
So stable diffusion is the same thing, just a competitor of Midjourney or something?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you pay for
open
that one
source.
too?
It's open source, it's free. It's a public service, like a thing like, well, not public service, but
Like
something.
ChatGPT?
But look, this is, yeah, ChatGPT, you pay for it as well, but let's say you said that the skin is not. Let's try something like that. A very realistic photograph of businessman. Let's try, for example, he's from Asia. That way we'll have less training and maybe it goes more into photographs. Taken with, what do you work with? Canon. Which Canon do you work with?
EOS R5.
R5, no?
Yeah.
R5 and lens, you normally shoot at 93mm or whatever? What was it?
70 to 200.
Yeah, but what focal length?
92 millimeters.
92.
Really?
Whatever. It's just for you to have
Two,
like less reference.
F4. Don't do F.
Let's be real here.
Really? It knows all of that?
No, but it's basically making his training to be more like closed into it. Like, you know, it basically not, there is not so many pictures in its training that it have a reference of F4. So whenever it thinks about F4, it's probably only looking real photos. So that makes the photo look more real. So it's the same thing with Hasselblad or with Canon.
It is also not a headshot, that's half body.
That's true. Yeah, I think the thing is if we make a photo and the person is really extremely famous, then it will recognize the style. If you say something like, I don't know, like on the style of pop art, it will come out on something like that. But then it makes it more
brought up Asian dudes. Cool.
Yeah, now we go for Asians. Well, they are there. Like, I mean, not perfect, definitely, but yeah, you know, like this is only 1 year old. So definitely it's like gonna get better and better. So, and from here, that's what I normally say. People imagine that you can make an image perfect straight away, but you cannot do that with a camera either. It normally takes you some time until you get the right image.
Yeah.
So at the end of this, if you spend the same amount of time that you spend on a headshot doing this, you will get much closer results than doing it in 1.5 minutes. So definitely it's that. But yeah, let's see if there is any questions here. Yeah, I have some here. Miguel dice, ¿qué argumento utiliza cuando fotografía a una persona que no se siente cómodo con su imagen personal o cómo se ve en las fotos para darle confianza durante la sesión? Okay, so Miguel is asking, what technique do you use or what argument do you use when someone in front of you doesn't feel comfortable with their own image or how they look in pictures to make them confident during the shoot?
I mean, there's no argument there. You have to get them to you have to figure out, find their beauty. Basically, everybody's got beauty. You have to behave like an expert and get the best picture of them they've ever seen. And it's not hard to do. Okay. Like somebody like that who doesn't, most people don't have good pictures of themselves. So if you use some techniques to make them look their best, put them in their best light, and then make them feel good about themselves, they might change their tune a little bit. But that's the nature of the beast, is that we live in a fault-based society, so we see all our faults. Nobody walks into my studio and goes, oh my gosh, this is your lucky day. My skin is perfect. My hair's amazing. You should be paying me. You know, it's not like that.
Okay.
It's like
dice que no es extremadamente difícil porque lo primero de todo es que lo único que tienes que hacer es hacer la mejor foto que hayan visto de sí mismos y eso ya será que se vean bien. Lo que evidentemente todo el mundo vive en una sociedad en que miramos muchísimo los complejos y todos estamos acomplejados y con lo cual dice que nadie entre en su estudio en plan, buah, estudia de suerte, me deberías pagar tú a mí porque estoy guapo de cojones. Eso no lo dice nadie y con lo cual siempre tiene que trabajar con la persona para que se vea lo mejor posible en las fotos, pero que además se sienta bien en las fotos. Y eso yo creo que es donde Peter realmente es excelente, es hacer que la gente se lo pase bien. Os lo digo yo que he estado delante de su cámara, y que la gente se lo pase bien estando delante de una cámara. Alguien como yo que no nos gusta, es algo tremendo. I remember when I posed for you on the workshop last year, and I never like to be in front of a camera, but you make it enjoyable. Like, I don't know if I would say a fun experience, because obviously it's tight, it's tense, it has its things, but it's definitely like the opposite of uncomfortable. So I think that's pretty much your talent, and I think it's something really, you probably can make people learn some techniques to make it better, but I think that comes with you. It's part of your
but I've been working at, that's exactly what I've been working on for so long. But you can train yourself to do it, and it's repetitive. Like I think photographers out there, they have moments that they know, like, if I need to make somebody laugh, I'm going to say or do this.
Right.
And they're going to repeat that again.
Right.
That's like part of their shtick. It's part of their routine.
Yeah.
So repetition is the first law of learning. I learned that from Bob Proctor. He taught me that, and I was like, okay, I guess I got to repeat over and over and over and over again. And that's all you do with each person, and then you fine tune it for the human being as to what they need. Like, some people need to be yelled at. Like, I need to yell at them. Like, stop doing that. Like, why would you think that you're an unattractive person? Like, I yell at them. Like, I actually yell at them. And then some people I have to be quiet and not say anything. I have to be like, turn your face this way, we're going to get it. It's just...
So, dice que básicamente lo que tienes que encontrar es, yo le decía que él tiene un talento innato y que es difícil a veces, por mucho que te expliquen la técnica y el cómo hacerlo, que es, joder, es difícil poder hacerlo tú si no eres una persona como él, y que él evidentemente lo tiene. Hay cosas que puedes aprender y mejorar sin ninguna duda, pero que llegar al nivel de él es algo muy complicado porque él nació así y es algo talentoso. Pero él dice que realmente no es tan complicado y que realmente lleva muchos años perfeccionando su curso y su forma de enseñar para que otros lo puedan aplicar, y que es algo que en mayor o menor medida hacemos, pero que nos damos cuenta que, por ejemplo, que cuando tú haces algo en una sesión, la persona se ríe, y en la próxima sesión que veas una situación parecida vas a hacer lo mismo, que al final es un tema de repetición y aprendizaje, y a partir de ahí que todo el mundo lo puede hacer. But do you think that for you, like your ability of making people feel comfortable is the most important part of your business model?
Yeah.
By far, no?
Yeah, that's it. And the fact that people get uncomfortable is why I'm successful, right? Or why I'm even here.
Yeah.
Like, every photographer asks me this question. Like, this is the most important question. So if you're asking this question and you know there's an answer and you need the answer, you're on the right track, because that's why people need us.
Right.
Like, that's why it's, but, I just think it's super important to be able to have, I decided a long time ago that my purpose is to make somebody feel better about their appearance from having been in front of my camera. Mm-hmm. So hopefully you feel like a little different about being in front of cameras because you were in front of mine.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, yeah. I think, in some ways it was like, I don't want to take portraits of myself more than I need to. And then there is sometimes you need a fucking headshot. You need it for work, and you need it to, because you're going in a fair and they're asking for a picture of you to be able to present you and this kind of stuff. So sometimes it's necessary, but now I had fun with it. So I would not.
You're okay.
Maybe I could do it again, just for the fun of it, not because I need it.
What's wrong with you? You're a perfectly handsome gentleman. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. I enjoyed shooting. I was looking forward to shooting you, and you didn't like being in there. Like, you don't like your features. What about what's wrong with your features?
My wife loved it as well. I have to say, my wife really loved the experience. She's also this kind of person that she's beautiful. I mean, we're going to say about her, but she doesn't like to be in front of a camera, and that's why I almost never shoot her. Because especially with me, because of the confidence level, it gets like really. So at some point when she was posing for you as well on the workshop, it was like, for her, it was like, not only she got the best photos and she uses them for everything now, but she actually enjoyed it. She was like really happy when I told her you were in Barcelona. She's like, "Oh, you're doing another workshop?" Like, yeah, you want to pose again? No?
Oh, that's
but
cool.
Yeah, it's really. I think that's really that's an amazing talent. That's really, I think that's your special thing, and that's what I think you're gonna be one of the very good survivors against AI, because I think to the point where AI can make you feel experienced, that is far away on the road. So I think that's probably, because I think, for example, the stock photography is fucked. I think if you,
I know.
you know, if you work in corporate,
Stale
and
stuff
then-
is going to go.
yeah, if you work on corporate and then you have to make a PowerPoint and you have to put there a picture of someone on a computer just to illustrate the slide, I mean, what you're going to do? You're not going to buy it. You're going to just create it and you're not even going to create it. Probably PowerPoint is going to create it for you directly when you type
PowerPoint will just do
someone
it.
watching a computer and then fill it in.
Wow.
So I think when this gets there,
that's true. That's going to happen.
stock photography is really screwed.
Yeah.
But I think personal photography, wedding photography, all that stuff, I think it has a much better surviving chance. I think my photography is gonna die before than yours, because my photography being on the commercial photography of like product photography or clients, models with products, I think there is no special human connection when you do this.
Yeah.
The connection you get on commercial photography is get the fucking job done as soon as possible, so it's the cheapest possible. They don't care if the models are having a good time or not.
Right.
They want the fucking results.
They just want the pictures.
So at the end for them, it's not going to, I mean, of course, models appreciate if they have a better day at shooting, but it's not definitely going to be something that really makes a difference. Bueno, chicos, vamos con preguntas, a ver si tenéis alguna más por aquí. ¿Tienes alguna tú por ahí?
Sí.
Dime.
¿Qué aporta más en la foto, la imagen o la actitud?
Ok. Ella pregunta, o sea, desde Instagram, ¿quién era? ¿Quién nos lo pregunta? ¿Lo tienes?
Sí, Darek.
Vale, Darek nos pregunta que qué importa más en la imagen, si la imagen o la actitud. What is more important in a portrait? How you look or the attitude?
How you look or the attitude. Oh my gosh, it's a combo. I think it's a combination. So I have a couple words that I like that I make up, and they're not going to translate in Spanish, so it's fine. Well, one of them will. I mean, one won't. I call one lookability. So lookability is an image's ability to secure attention from an onlooker. So when you look at an image, what is securing your attention? For some images, it's the look of the person, and for what was the question again? It was the look.
It's like your looks or your attitude.
Or your attitude.
When you're being photographed.
When you're being
Because I guess like in some ways like we will easily say the attitude, because that kind of connects with the person and stuff. But of course if you have a very strong attitude but you're like looking like drunk or like with eyes and stuff, it's probably not helping. So I guess
well, one of my things that I love is I like the person to look like they're in a reactionary thought process. So if they look like they're thinking, that's more attractive to another human. If they don't look like, not looking like they're not thinking is like, it's like that. So it's like, it's just like a blank stare.
Dice que una de las formas que él hace, porque nos preguntan esto de la actitud y tal, y él decía al principio que era una combinación y tal, pero dice que una de las cosas que él intenta siempre es conseguir que la persona parezca en la foto que está pensando, que está haciendo un razonamiento dentro de su cabeza, y eso se ve interesante desde el otro lado. O sea, que eso es un buen tip que le podéis decir a vuestros fotografiados, que hagan como que piensan en algo, ¿no? Entonces, al final, si piensas en algo pero estás mirando a cámara, probablemente tienes ese punto de conexión de actitud, quizá.
When people come into the studio, I'm putting them, they're on a journey. So the journey starts it has a beginning, a middle, and it's like a story. And at the beginning, it's all coaching and all getting them to try and chill out and pull things out of them. It's a journey of discovery for me to find out which angles of their face are their most attractive. So I am going for that. But more importantly, I want them to let go of that fear of the camera. And I want them to get into a playful mindset. And once they're there, then you can get anything.
Right.
And if you're technically sound, or if you're not even, you don't even have to be that technical. I would say the expressions and the ability to work with human beings is more important than the technical aspects of photography, because I am self-taught. And I don't know the technical aspects of photography. And if you look at my work and say that it's technically wrong about something, that's fine with me, because I don't know what is supposed to be the right way to do it, but that's what got me to where I am. So I wasn't stopped by people told me you can't do this, and I was like, well, I already did it. Like, I don't care that I put the light like this, that's what I did. I would have never created the lighting scenarios that I created if I was taught. Because I would have never experimented the way, my brain doesn't work well with photography rules. I don't know what they are. I don't know. People say, well, that's this kind of lighting or that kind of lighting, and I'm like, I never
It's the
studied.
one I use, no?
I never studied anybody, so I don't know.
Comenta que para él también a la hora de ser un fotógrafo de éxito, la clave no está solo en la técnica, en la parte técnica, sino sobre todo en cómo eres capaz de hacer sentir a la persona que tienes delante, ¿no? Evidentemente para su flujo de trabajo. Entonces, si pasa por fotógrafos de paisaje, la cosa cambia, ¿no? Pero comenta que él, por ejemplo, no tiene ninguna técnica, no ha aprendido en ninguna escuela, no ha hecho nada de técnica y de hecho muchas veces la gente le dice, esto es así, con un nombre técnico y él no lo sabe porque nunca ha estudiado fotografía en sí y que todo lo que ha hecho lo ha hecho por su propia cuenta experimentando y probando y que no hubiese llegado a donde ha llegado si hubiese seguido las normas de la fotografía clásica y con lo cual él cree que sobre todo es más importante, o sea, puedes hacer fotos mucho mejores teniendo una buena capacidad para conectarte con las personas que tienes delante que con tener mucha técnica y no tener esa inhabilidad. But to some level, your photography is quite technical now because you use like lights and you use like a very good camera and like a certain lens. Like there is, I agree with you that your photography, most of the time you use like certain setups and you don't like go like on each photo changing the whole setup and everything on each client. And most of the time is like ABC and kind of what works for your work, and it's proven that it works really well because obviously each client is different and they're not jealous of the last client, but they come because they want what they saw with the last client. But to a certain point, your lights are really like spot on. They are really placed on certain places, specifically thought about it. Maybe it's not based on classic photography, but there is certain technicality. Like if you go there, like I see many people that comes to me first time and they want to play with flashes or they bought flashes, they don't know how to use them and then they call me and then I see them just like touching the lights, like, you know, moving them around and knowing what the fuck they're doing with them. I guess you probably had this phase, but it got to a technical point. Maybe you got there by yourself?
It took a long time, okay. Yeah. No, I had an assistant that was trying to teach me lighting way back when. And I didn't get any of it. And I was like, I moved into a studio without any windows. And I was like, I don't understand any of this. And I think for me, it was the continuous light. So I was shooting strobes.
Yeah,
I was shooting natural light. I was a natural light shooter. Then I got strobes because I thought you needed them as I thought professional photographers need lights and they need strobes. So I need them. So I bought them. And then I went through the phase of buying everything in sight. So my studio has a closet full of stuff that has dust on it, and I don't really use that much. But I never really. It just started to click years later. I would say I'm super technical now, but I wouldn't say I don't know the answer to why or how or what.
You have your own technique.
Since I'm self-taught, I teach my students the way that I teach is like I don't even know because I don't emulate any other teachers, or it doesn't come from a place of you know, I didn't have any I had a mentor, Bruce Weber, who mentored me, or well, I mean, I consider him my mentor. He gave me a photography book once and he's like pick up a camera, and then I started shooting and I would you know, hang out with him and show him some pictures and stuff, and he'd be like, those are great. I think he just gave me confidence, and he got me a camera in my hand, so that was very special. But he didn't teach me anything technically. Nobody really did. I think the greatest thing about photography is trial and error works. Mm-hmm. It's the best. Like, it's just people don't try. I was like, I try everything. Like I use, the best part about it is you can use paying clients to try, which is great. So people come in my studio for a portrait session, and I always do headshots, so I always do either my triangle lighting or my key fill kick lighting, and those are the two standards that I use all the time. I always go to them because I know I'm going to get good results. It's just the easiest way for somebody to build trust with me is by getting them a picture that nobody else could get of them. So that's what I did with you. I knew immediately I was going to key fill kick you, and I was like, he's going to look great, and let's do it. But then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, now it's a portrait session. What am I going to do? And over the 20 years, I would just try everything. And it wouldn't matter because it was just they were paying me for my time and the pictures, and I can do whatever I want. So it's great, especially when you get people. Most actors never want to leave. Like, they'll shoot all day. So I'll be like, and now if they want to shoot all day, I'm fine with it. They're buying images. As long as they buy an image from me, I'll experiment. I'll be like, okay, well, let's do this backdrop with this. Let's try what was I doing the other day? I dusted off my ring flash. It wasn't even the other day. It was like a long day. It was a while ago. But I was like excited because I had this person in, and I was like, let me do something cool. I got on a ladder. I got my ring flash. I put a chair. I like put the ring flash down, and then I took some bare heads and put them like right next to the chair, and was blowing up bare heads with a ring flash that I would never know to do. And I was just like, and it looked super cool, and I got a great shot out of it. So I was like, there's no rules. It's great. And if there are rules, you break them. And I tell my students, break my rules. Show me. Break my rules.
Make something good.
And show me and make it better, and I will change all my rules. I'm ready.
Okay, that's cool. So, dice que yo le estaba diciendo ahora que no era, o sea, que para mí sí que es una persona bastante técnica, porque cuando ves su trabajo y ves cómo enseña y cómo trabaja, sí que tiene unos esquemas de iluminación que utiliza y siempre utiliza esos tres habituales, etcétera. Pero él se refiere a que no tiene técnica en el sentido de que no ha aprendido técnica de nadie, que él ha desarrollado su propia técnica y es la que utiliza hoy en día, pero que no depende de una serie de reglas. Al contrario, incluso cuando él enseña, le dice a sus alumnos que, porque Peter tiene una de las comunidades más grandes de fotógrafos, que es The Headshot Crew, que básicamente es un grupo de alumnos con una especie de membresía que forman parte de una academia y están constantemente en contacto, y Peter está en directo con ellos cada semana y es un rollo muy guay que tiene. Por si podéis hablar inglés, os lo recomiendo sin ninguna duda. Pero básicamente él dice que él les dice a sus alumnos que rompan esas reglas y que le enseñen qué son capaces de hacer, y que él está dispuesto a cambiar su forma de trabajar porque lo lleva haciendo toda la vida. Decía que el cambio importante para él en la parte de la iluminación vino cuando había intentado aprender a utilizar flashes, no había forma y no acababa de entenderlo, etcétera, y se pasó a las luces continuas, y ahí es donde descubrió la iluminación artificial, y ahí es donde realmente le sacó muchísimo provecho, porque se había metido en un estudio que no tenía ventanas y no le quedaba otra, pero que realmente ahí es donde encontró un poco el sitio en ese sentido. Y dice que es muy guay porque la fotografía, incluso con clientes pagados, cuando te pagan por su modelo de negocio en el que él vende las fotos de forma individual y no el tiempo de la sesión, básicamente él se pone a experimentar con el cliente de pago, y entonces él está ahí pues jugando con ello y a ver qué sale. El otro día desempolvó un ring flash que tenía en un armario y se puso a probar, no tenía ni puñetera idea de cómo hacerlo servir, y al final lo puso tal y salieron algunas imágenes buenas que el cliente compró, ¿no? Entonces al final yo creo que la clave está ahí un poco en su pasión por la fotografía, en su evolución constante a pesar de llevar tantos años, tener tanto éxito, y en su capacidad, sobre todo, yo creo, para dirigir personas, que creo que es lo más importante. ¿Tenemos alguna pregunta por ahí, Aida? ¿No? ¿Tenemos alguna en el chat, chicos? Que no sé si me ha pasado alguna. Si tenéis alguna pregunta, hacerla, porque no tengo mucho más tiempo, que nos tenemos que ir con Peter. Pero si tenéis alguna pregunta más, la podemos hacer sin problema. Para los que estáis viendo esto y no entendáis la mayoría, porque traducir todo lo que dice es prácticamente imposible, probablemente cuando el vídeo esté procesado después habrá subtítulos automáticos que YouTube pone, así que podréis entenderlo más o menos bien, y te los puede traducir incluso a español los subtítulos, así que no creo que tengamos muchos problemas. So what's next for you? Because you're like, are you thinking on retiring? You think you will keep on taking photos for the rest of your life until you die? What is for
Yeah,
you?
I don't
Photography
think
for you, it's
photographers-
always been important and you love it, but
Yeah.
sailing is your main thing, right? What do you think?
I don't
What is
know.
the
I love
balance on
both.
that?
I love
Both?
both. I love both. So, I think this is important. I think that photographers, at least for me, the camera is a key to opening doors. So it is opened so many doors to me. Like today, I was flying in, one of my students is a pilot. I would never get in a commercial airline and fly in the cockpit like to a destination in my life. I never have done that till today, because the pilot's my friend and he's a photographer and he's a headshot photographer and he's associate on the headshot crew, and he's like, all right, you got to go from Amsterdam to Barcelona. I'm going to get that flight and you're going to come sit in the cockpit with me. And that was awesome. That was awesome. So I get to do so many things because the camera opens the door. For instance, the America's Cup's here. I'm a sailor. You know, my friends are professional sailors. They're on the teams. When I got off the plane, I messaged a few of them and I said, I'm here. I want to take some pictures. If you have any time, I'm here a week. And we'll see if something comes back. And I'm not going to go charge for, like, I don't charge for that kind of stuff. I just love it.
Yeah,
but it opens a door, and then all of a sudden I'll open that door, and who knows what's in that door, you know. The stuff that I've done in the past for the sailors has opened other doors for me. So I was in The Hague for the World Championship. I got to Amsterdam. I got to Amsterdam on Saturday. I was teaching Monday. On Sunday, I went to The Hague, and they had a world championship going on that I thought I was going to be part of, but the qualification didn't work anyway. I made all these plans to be in Amsterdam because of that regatta, but I didn't end up sailing. So I showed up there. I didn't know anybody. I walk in, and all I did was I was like, I'm going to bring my camera and take some pictures of whatever I see. Let's see what happens. And all of a sudden, one of my friends who runs the class is like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I'm here. I want to take some pictures. Oh, hold on. Let's get you credentials. And this thing, I know I got credentials. And this guy's like, you can go anywhere with these. This is like, I have an extra credential. And he was like the boss. He's like, you can go anywhere. Oh, and by the way, there's that guy that you know, and he's going out on a boat and he'll take you. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know you. All right, you'll take me? All right, let's go. So I get on the boat. Then the world champion and all the other guys are like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm taking pictures and blah, 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 blah. And the next thing I know, and I was like a kid in a candy store. So that happens because cameras are powerful. People love photography. We are capturing history, guys. Like, there is no way that you're going to put into this program something that's going to capture history because it didn't happen.
Exactly.
So we need to be able to do our jobs because of this. This is part of the human thing that we created this. So there are people here, unfortunately I bring this up all the time. I lost my mom 10 years ago. I never got her in my headshot lighting. I don't know why. She was in my studio and I never said, Mom, come on, we're taking one. I'm just like so pissed. And when she went, when we did the thing for the obituary and like for the mass and everything, the picture on the cover of it was not mine. I did not take that picture. And I was pissed. Yeah. And I realized that how important pictures are. And you guys, if you look through your life on how important pictures are, you'll understand that there are just pictures that you look at over the course of your life that give you your history. So we need to record history. We need to do it in a beautiful way because, yes, iPhones and Androids and stuff are getting better and better and better at it. It's the same conversation. Like, I can take a way more interesting picture with my R5 than I can with my iPhone. Still, I mean, it just is that I just bought a 8x10 film camera a couple months ago. Like those pictures, that picture on my Instagram, that double exposure means a lot to me. I've got a piece of film that I screwed up, and it's a double exposure. On my 53rd birthday, I walked into my studio and I was like, I'm 53. I'm gonna take a couple portraits of myself, and I got this air pump thing that went 20 feet to the camera and it made the image with film. And then I changed the lens. I was like, I gotta do another one with another lens. And I forgot to flip to the other side, and I did a double exposure, and it's the best shot. It's one of my favorite pictures of myself ever. Yeah. And you know, that is always gonna be set in stone, that I took it that day. It meant that much to me. It was that experience. And if we don't have that, if we took that out of our lives, I don't think it's as meaningful. I really, look, we all have phones that send us the memories and stuff. I was looking at it today. I looked through a memory of one of my clients came up, and it was all pictures of her. And I was like, I remembered, you know, her and the experience with her, and she was like my muse for a couple years. And it was like in 2016 to 2019, and it was those memories that meant a lot to me, and they popped up on my phone. Like you can't create memories; you have to capture memories.
Sí, una cosa de las que está diciendo, evidentemente es mucho más lo que está contando, pero contaba lo importante de hacer fotos, ¿no? Lo importante porque él, por ejemplo, no le hizo fotos, le hizo un retrato a su madre, y cuando su madre murió, en el obituario, en el papel cuando hacen el funeral, la foto que aparecía ahí no era suya, y él se arrepiente muchísimo de ello. Y él es consciente de que las fotos que tomamos son súper importantes para la gente, y que las fotos que tomamos, evidentemente si eres periodista mucho más, pero si cualquier foto que tomas es de algo que está pasando, y que eso es algo que con la inteligencia artificial no sucederá, y eso porque la inteligencia artificial crea cosas que no han existido antes, con lo cual cree que por eso solo ya tiene valor la fotografía en sí, y eso no lo dudamos ninguno, que la fotografía desde luego tiene un valor de por sí absolutamente increíble, por más allá de lo que puedas hacer con la inteligencia artificial, social, pero no podemos tampoco negar la herramienta. Pero sobre todo él dice que lo importante es que la fotografía es importante, y le he preguntado antes, así medio en coña, si se piensa retirar, y ha dicho que ni de coña, que él piensa estar haciendo fotos porque las cámaras le han abierto todas las puertas de todo lo que ha vivido en su vida. Y el otro día estaba contando una anécdota que fue una regata y que no conocía a nadie allí, y que teniendo una cámara en la mano acabó entrando y viendo con el campeón del mundo en un barco y tal. O sea que al final todo eso es tremendamente importante. We have a question here from Oli. He says, ¿qué opinas de la supuesta inteligencia artificial? ¿Crees que podría sustituir tu fotografía actual o no crees que podría captar la esencia del mismo? Okay, he's asking a bit of what we said already, but to make it like in a short answer, what do you think about AI? Do you think it could take over your photography, or you don't think that it could take the essence of the subject in front of you?
Yeah, I think he said it right. I think the essence of the subject is going to be a very hard time. How the hell is AI going to get the essence of a subject, because it's not utilizing real time. It's not capturing memories unless they work it into a camera where it's capturing a person that's actually moving or doing something, or you take a video of a spur of time that's already recorded some other way. Like I would look at it as recording history and then figuring it out, but I just don't think I think it's going to remain stale. And I think even if it does get better and better, I think it's just good for photographers to embrace what's new. So I want to know about it. It's like when I first started shooting, I didn't want to learn Photoshop because I was like, I'm not a retoucher. But I told my retoucher, I was like, can we go to Photoshop World? Like, I want to go with you and sit next to you through these classes just to know. And that's how I feel about AI right now. Like, I want to know. Like, you started talking about it, and I was like, what?
Yeah, totally.
What?
Yeah,
I'm into it.
incredible.
I'm into it. And I'm not afraid of it. I'm into it. I think the photographers that are afraid are going to stay afraid. I think the photographers that are, if you're not willing to change and bend, you know, you're already stuck. Whether it's AI or something else, whether it's a recession or something hits you or something, you always have to be willing to bend and figure out what your next steps are. And if this is in our world, we have to figure out how to utilize it to our best ability. And if it takes us out, you know, I better be one step ahead of the curve, which for me, it's about reality, real memories, experiences, and all of that is taken out with AI. So it's not something that I'm looking forward to utilizing, but it's something that I want to be able to utilize should I need it.
You know, that's a really good example. Like my personal work, when I go to these tribes and I take the photos of these disappearing cultures, I don't want to stop doing this. And I know I could create them with AI. And the very first thing that I tried when I discovered AI in Midjourney was like, oh shit, because that's what really passionates me. You know, my work is mostly money. I like it, and I'm better doing that than doing any other job. But what really I do for pleasure, because I love photography, is the elders. It's that, exactly. It's that collection. And it's about traveling to remote places in the world, meeting incredible people. Like I met this guy in Mongolia, he killed 100 bears in his life, and one of them with a machete because his rifle failed. So these guys are real fuckers, you know, like real people with real lives. And when I photograph a football player for a cover or whatever, it just feels so superficial in some ways compared to these guys. So the whole human experience is what I really enjoy about this project. And I don't want this to be taken away no matter what. And I know with AI, I will be able to create images that look like that, but they don't have that experience. As we were saying before, I was a travel photographer for 2 years. I look at my work and I look at any random picture of India and I can tell you exactly what happened that fucking day. So for me, it's like really my whole life, I live it through my pictures that I take, not the pictures that I was in. And that is for me super important. So photography for me is a passion, but I agree with you. This AI thing, it's going to be a tool. Like it or not, it's going to be in the game. So rather know it and be able to use it than be able to be taken over by it. That's my fear. You know, my fear is that if you don't do anything about AI and you don't integrate it in your work for certain jobs that you want to put it in, for others not, maybe combine it, like make mixed arts or whatever. If you don't do it, it will run over someone with AI, will run you over. And I think that's where you will lose your passion for photography, because you will be like, this guy is doing the same as me, and with AI, it doesn't take them any effort, I cannot compete. And I think that's when it gets shitty, you know? Maybe, I don't know, I see myself in the future, maybe in 5 years, most of my money comes from AI photography, but I still take my trips to somewhere remote in the world to do my personal project.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I can see that it's important. I think, as you said, like if anyone goes against it, they will end up like people that went against digital.
Yeah.
They were fucked.
Yeah,
and
they're
there's
done.
people
Yeah.
nowadays making money with analog photos.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
it's
guy
bad.
here in the
Yeah.
Rambla that they
It's
makes
bad,
like
yeah.
portraits with this kind of silver thing, and he makes money with it. So perfect. If you find your business model there, kudos for you. But you need to know about the stuff that comes out because maybe useful. You know,
Yeah.
you cannot just be against it.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
think
yeah.
many people I even like since I started with AI, I lost followers and I gain others, and that's great and it's fine. But I think some people is just like directly closing in. Because it's like, you know, like racist people is against immigrants. No, they're coming to take our jobs. And that's it.
Yeah.
There is no conversation there. You know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, you don't know if the guy is going to take your job. You don't want to do this job anyway. So it's this kind of thing where I think if you go totally against, it's definitely not helping anybody. And knowing about it is not going to hurt. So that's my philosophy. So learn it. And for me, it's fun to learn it. So just learn it and see what comes out of it. And if it ends up nothing, so go back to the camera.
Yeah.
So I think that's my feel. Bueno, chicos, traducir todo esto yo creo que sería complicado, pero YouTube tiene un algoritmo de inteligencia artificial que traduce automáticamente, así que en un ratito probablemente este vídeo tendrá todos los subtítulos y tendréis la opción de ponerlos traducidos automáticamente. Si no, no os preocupéis que hay inteligencias artificiales para convertir esto a español. Pero vaya, ha sido un placer tener aquí a Peter. Espero que lo hayáis disfrutado tanto como yo. Sé que es agosto y que es época de vacaciones y no época de hacer este tipo de cosas, pero había que aprovechar la oportunidad de que Peter estaba aquí en Barcelona. Peter, thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure to have you always. Like, I know you're the kind of person that we met not long ago, like a year ago, but since I met you, it's the kind of person I could spend hours talking about anything, and that's great. So thank you very much for taking yourself into this. I think people really appreciated it. So yeah, we'll keep on talking.
I love it. I love everything we've done together. I love that we did the workshop. I love that you asked me to do this. It's cool to speak to you guys. So hopefully
we'll
you
keep doing
enjoyed
more
it.
things.
And yeah,
I'm sure we'll keep doing more
definitely.
things. As far as
All
you
right.
want, we'll be happy.
I appreciate
Thank you very
it.
much.
Thanks for your time.
Chicos, hasta la próxima. Nos vemos.